Okay. So, let's see. Widen. You know, I was told a long time ago that streaming, the act of streaming, it is a methodology, not a methodology, but it's basically putting out fires. A good streamer is good at putting out a bunch of fires that arise in the moment that you couldn't have foreseen beforehand. And every time I come on here, I'm realizing it more and more how accurate that is. Let's see now. Okay. Oh, is that it? Yep, that's the reason why. Okay. Why does my computer auto switch my devices every time I plug one in? Well, not every time, but when it really matters. Anyways, welcome to Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 2. Let's see. Okay, good. The English audio is on, and I'm just going to turn down the game itself so I'm not really competing with the dialogue. So, for, what is it now? The 5th, 7th time? We're gonna just start a new game. And, Mike's peeking a bit. We're gonna see where we get to this time. More than likely, we're gonna finally beat the game. So, let me see. Adjusting audio on the fly. So,
now this world
since I last streamed this game, a little bit has happened in that my capture card kind of just, well, the audio on it anyways, for whatever reason just didn't feel like working,
Almighty
which
push.
again goes into that, what I was talking about earlier. When you're a streamer, it's all about putting out small fires as they appear, and to make a long story short, I couldn't fix it in the moment. Mostly because I wasn't even aware that it was happening. So, I ended up getting a new capture card, and right now, I'm having, like, I'm head over heels over it. It is playing, I can play the game in real time and stream it from my desktop. It's amazing.
Can't be happening. What?
If I knew that this technology existed, I probably would have upgraded my equipment sooner.
Oh no.
Like, man, who would have thought technology actually moved forward in 10 years?
Naruto.
Not me, apparently.
Hurry.
Well, to some extent, me, apparently.
Hurry. Please. Naruto.
So you came.
So, right off the bat, something differently than I'm doing this time around is actually using the English dub instead of the Japanese
On a gust
dub.
of wind, did the
On
young
the one
man
hand,
come home once more.
I would be
To the
talking
crisis
over the English
looming
voices,
over his
obviously, like I'm
hometown,
doing right now.
He offers limitless
And
strength
in a sense that could
farewells of a
hamper
distant
someone's
past,
enjoyment of
he
what's
offers
happening on
fresh
screen on this 10 plus year old game. But I kind of figured that this time around, I just want to have fun with the game, you know?
Now this takes me back.
A lot of what I did in the past
it has.
was that I did in the past in trying to stream this game. I was trying too much. Let me see if I can make that make sense. I guess I was trying too hard to make it into something. I don't. In case you aren't aware, I'm fairly new to this whole streaming thing, but I'm getting a hang of it. I'm getting a hang of how flexible you need to be in order to be a streamer. I think I gotta, you know. So I'll start this off with giving streamers some props because it's not easy as it's not as easy as it looks to press record and essentially hope for the best.
Come on, it's been forever.
Always rambunctious.
Hey, so where are we going now? I figure the first place we should hit is Ichiraku, right? Huh?
Dude, it is such a night and day experience.
Huh?
Hearing the English to the Japanese dub, I know that a lot of people prefer the Japanese dub of Naruto for obvious reasons. But considering my background, English is where I go for, thanks to Toonami being such a huge part of my childhood.
So you must have made it through your training all right then.
Yeah, I've gotten way stronger, so I'll take any missions you've got.
That irresponsible self-confidence of yours sure hasn't changed.
Although, speaking of changes, I wonder if perception towards the English dub has changed, because I know for a fact that over the years the Naruto dub has gotten even better than what it once was, and what it was back in the day was already pretty good.
Listen, Pervy Sage, do you think I could go look around the village a little first? It's been so long, the waiting is killing me.
Sheesh, just do it later. Or at least that's what I should say. But you've never been away from the village for so long, have you?
It's all right, Master Jiraiya. I'll go with Naruto too. I'll make sure he gets to the mansion.
Whoa, I just got back and now we're going on a date?
In your dreams.
Well, in that case, I'll go on ahead to the mansion. You two catch up after you're through wandering around the village, all right?
You got it.
Man,
Prologue.
it's so
Homecoming of
nice.
Naruto.
And like, this is gonna make no sense if you haven't seen the past live streams I tried to do, but it is actually
Okay, why
so
don't we head
nice
to the mansion and check out the vicinity on
to
our
be
way
able
over.
to like progress through the dialogue at a reasonable pace without trying to figure out if the Japanese is off sync. Ugh.
This is gonna be awesome.
Map types and switching. I've played this game a little too long for tutorials to get any useful informations out of tutorials. I guess in a sense that is one of the first things I wanted to talk about is tutorialization in video games, and I don't know, like people's perceptions towards it. As necessary as tutorials are, people tend to be somewhat and they treat them with animosity. That's the word I want to use. Purely because most people who play games play video games. They aren't necessarily starting from scratch, but how do you say? It is a necessary point for games. Necessary in the fact that any game can be someone's first game. So it is very important to go over it. And even if a person has played games before, it's still an important topic. Because every game is different, every game has its own quirks, even from one game to another. Games can change a lot. For instance, Ultimate Ninja Storm 2 plays very differently from Ultimate Ninja Storm 1, and 3 plays differently from 2 and 1, and 4 plays like an upgraded version of 3, but what's the word I'm looking for? Gets rid of a lot of things that were problematic in Storm 3.
Naruto, it's good to see you again.
Storm 3 is a great game, by the way. I like it a lot. I don't know, but I guess to ask the question, you know, what do you guys think about tutorials? Because
it was pretty intense.
I don't know.
I've gotten way stronger.
Through good tutorialization, I found myself spending a lot more times playing games, enjoying them instead of, you know, just trying to get through to the end. I think my own personal example is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, where in the past, because I've played the Xenoblade games a lot, I enjoyed them, but I ended up bouncing off of them at some point due to me not understanding how those games are played. However, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 comes in, gives the most tutorialization in a Xenoblade game to date, and then I spent like 250 hours playing it. And most of that was through the story mode. Not story mode, but trying to get through the main story of the game, right? And the reason why I spent so much time is because this is the first game that actually tried to teach me all the ins and outs of how to play the game. And so now that I understand, I'm trying more things more often, trying to see how specific builds work, team compositions, and stuff like that. So, in my experience, it's a bit of a give and take with tutorials, you know?
And 2 of us?
You know, a good tutorial, no matter how lengthy, can end up influencing your overall playtime and how much you enjoy the game a lot. Whereas just assuming the player will know can lead to some interesting interesting outcomes.
Bells?
You mean
That's right. It's the same test you took 3 years ago. The Bell test.
the bell test, huh? Wow. Does this bring back memories?
You couldn't get one then. I wonder how you'll fare this time. We'll hold the test on the training field. Come when you're ready. Got it?
You got it.
All right. I'll be waiting.
Naruto.
Yeah! Let's show Kakashi-sensei just how much we've grown!
Okay. So, in my past live streams, in an attempt to really have something to talk about, I ended up mentioning a lot of the differences between different Naruto medias and how they go about showing the same thing. How the manga, the bell string test, isn't really that important of a thing. The most important thing about the bell string test, I should mention the bell string test in Shippuden, is it shows how Naruto has grown mentally, that he's not trying to attack Kakashi with brute force. He instead utilizes his knowledge of his master's likes and dislikes in order to get the upper hand on him by revealing the ending of the book he literally just bought him. Unfortunately, that's not represented in the game, but whatever, you know. Adaptations, some things are gonna be here and some things aren't gonna be here. In the anime, they more so elongate the fight because they know that people come to watch the show for a good fight, and so
What's wrong, Sakura?
there you go. But the game is a much more... It leans heavy in the way that the anime went, where it
There are lots of ways.
exacerbates the fight, for lack of a better term, in order to sell how awesome it is, right? And it's a very interesting, it's very interesting to see how different adaptations handle utilizing the same material, I guess, for lack of a better term. Because even for the anime, despite the fact that it elongated the fight, it still ended up showing Naruto the most important thing about the bell string test, which is Naruto's increased mental faculties and capabilities, whereas this one doesn't really do that. Not to say that Storm 2 has done it in any kind of worse way. In fact, I enjoy this game a lot. This is probably one of my most played video games of all time, if I had to be entirely honest. So, needless to say, the decisions they made, the decisions that CC2 had made for Storm 2 were to my liking, especially so when I was a child. But how do you say? I definitely, in the past, I definitely favored the manga more so than any other material that Naruto had, and that hasn't changed, honestly. It is what because, okay, so to give you some information on how Naruto was back in the day, it was very interesting after Sasuke had left the Hidden Leaf Village to get the context for what was going on. Episodes, so Toonami had shut down after a point. I don't remember if the final episode ever played on Toonami, but I do know it's dubbed. I do know there's a DVD for it. However, that's not how I was experiencing Naruto. I wasn't buying DVDs, I saw it on TV.
Not bad.
And when Naruto left TV, you know, I had to find a new way to experience it. And Shippuden would eventually go to Disney XD. That was the decision of all time. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Disney definitely didn't know what they had when they bought Naruto, but that's a story for possibly another day, or possibly never, because I never actually watched Naruto on Disney XD. For a majority of the time, when I wanted to experience Naruto, it was in its manga form, so my connection with the manga is a lot stronger than any other thing with Naruto. It also helps that, I don't know, personally, after a while, I definitely felt the slower pace of the anime. This is, in my opinion, I felt it the most during the point where Naruto was gaining control over the Nine Tails, the boat. There is a series of filler episodes on the boat where in the manga it was like, yeah, okay, Naruto's taking a boat ride to the Hidden Cloud Village, and then when you next see him, he's already there. In the anime, ooh, I'm pressing wrong buttons. In the anime, it takes a long time, and was very unfortunate because I was super excited. What had just happened in the manga was amazing. I'm debating whether or not to talk about it due to the fact that it's Storm, you know, still Storm 2. Excuse me, this 10-year-old game. But you know, there are people out there who haven't seen what has happened in Storm 3 onwards, so maybe, I don't know. I'm still contemplating that at the moment. But with that being said, what was my point again? Oh right, I have a much, whenever I think about Naruto, whenever I talk about Naruto, it's always from the perspective of the manga, because that is more in line with what Kishimoto, well, it is what Kishimoto wrote. It's literally word for word. Although with that being said, it is interesting when you consider that, because it's not all how Kishimoto wanted. Most manga, most written work has been through an editor, so it's been, I don't want to use the word sanitized, but it's definitely been chiseled a lot in order to fit a specific demographic and a specific genre. A video title I saw on YouTube a little ways back was, what was it called? Why all shonen manga are the same, or shonen anime are the same. And like my initial reaction was, they're not all the same, but they cover a lot of the same story beats, which, yeah, it can definitely feel samey.
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting.
Are you both ready?
Absolutely!
Well, same rules as 3 years ago. Just take these bells from me. Of course, If you don't actively try to come after me, you'll never get the bells.
We know already! Skip the introduction, let's hurry up and start!
Sounds good.
If there's one thing about this game, though, above everything else that I don't think I'll get over, it's boss fights.
All right.
Easily
Begin?
some of the best boss fights in the series. Albeit, I'll admit, I'm much more preferential to Storm 3. To me, that's the best Storm game. If only because when you do one of these boss fights in Storm 2, the game does hold your hand quite a bit in allowing you to regen health for each successful QTE you do. That's a lot. And in one of my past attempts to live stream this game, I had almost lost to Sasori, like the first time in years that I ever got pushed like that. And, you know, I literally healed up to max. You can't see it because that's when my capture card started going through some stuff. But, you know, it really put a hamper on, you know, the challenge of the fight itself. Granted, most fights in this game aren't challenging to me anymore. It's a little too late for me to be challenged by this game. But with that being said, when this game was new, I was definitely having a hard time, especially in that pain boss fight. That took a while. It also helps that this game doesn't count bad inputs either, which is a whole separate thing we could go on.
That's just like you, Kakashi. Huh?
But I guess at this point, the question is, you know, how does everyone feel about QTEs? Personally speaking, I'm not necessarily their biggest detractor, if only for the fact that I grew up in the era of QTEs, and I just like seeing cool things. You know, I just like seeing cool things happen. But I do know that there's a lot of people who dislike it, and for good reason. If anything, because it stops a person from actually playing the game. I was actually thinking about this before I got started. It's interesting how those QTEs got integrated into gaming as a whole, where games like Spider-Man 2018 is essentially built around QTEs, but they're all optional. You can stop doing them whenever you want, but like whoever designed the game, I know who designed the game, it was Insomniac. You know, they just couldn't think about making a Spider-Man game without it. Either they couldn't think about it, or they were directed to put it in. You know, I probably should have. I probably should have thought about that before I made that statement. But it's interesting, is what I'm trying to say. How impactful a QTE is, and yet it's kind of despised in some corners of gaming. The opinion has probably changed now that my generation's got a lot older and I've gotten a lot of time to grow up with this stuff, but... Oh, how do you say? I theorized, sorry, because I forgot about talking about this, but I theorized that it was like a method of pacifying some gamers after a while. Like, obviously, certain games use it to its advantage. Storm 2 and really most of CC2, I can say, is a game, a company that utilizes QTEs to their advantage. If only because they really like this over-the-top stuff. Ever since the PS2 days, Naruto Ultimate Ninja? They were all for showing the most spectacular, over-the-top action that they could animate. Albeit, Ultimate Ninja, the Ultimate Ninja games weren't exactly the best. They didn't portray the QTEs in the best light. It's kind of like the Budokai games, specifically Budokai 3, where if you hit a specific button sequence or you fill a meter before your opponent, you can interrupt the attack. is that how it worked in 3? Maybe it's not. Maybe that's not how it worked in Ultimate Ninja 3. But that's how it worked in one of them, definitely. I don't remember which one. It's been a minute, unfortunately. I have my PS2 set up right there. I can play these games at any time. And, you know, instead of just trying to talk from memory. But yeah, it's interesting because in certain cases I can definitely see what people mean when they say they don't like QTEs. But at the same time, it can enhance the experience and give you an unforgettable experience.
Maybe I've surpassed you, Kakashi.
But I don't know.
Sensei.
What do you guys think?
Like that'll ever happen.
To think they'd surpass my expectations. They really are skilled.
Hey, so since we took the bells from you, doesn't that mean we?
Right. You pass. In a little while, I'll have you taking on missions as Team 7 again.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, we'll talk about the future another time. For now, go get some rest.
Yep.
Catch you later.
We did it, Sakura.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give these missions our all.
Naruto, I'm looking forward to working with you again.
Ditto.
You know, I've never actually... Okay, I mean, I guess I noticed it a long time ago, but due to the fact that I used to... The way that I used to do these kind of live streams,
What do you
I
want to
never
do
really
now?
noticed how short that prologue was.
If you don't have anything
Ugh.
planned, why not come see Lady Tsunade with me? I want to let her know the test went okay.
We should, huh? Okay then, let's go to the mansion.
So, something I've kicked around a lot in playing this game back up again is doing the individual missions. And I bring this up because, well, we're about to go on a handful of them. And the missions in this game are as side questy as it gets, right? But, I don't know. I mean, there's only really one... Hang on. Did I do that? You know, the secret mission to get the Killer Bee fight in this game? No, I don't think I have. Actually, it doesn't really matter because I would have to do it again. Because, unfortunately, I only just recently came into the realization that I could create a new
Lady
account
Tsunade,
on my
we made it through
PS5
Kakashi-sensei's
and
test.
start a new game there instead of hitting new game on the title screen.
I see. And judging by the looks on your faces, I'd say you passed.
I know that's
Well done.
probably like
Hey, Grandma
already
Tsunade,
like knowledge most
any
people
chance you got
have,
a
but
mission for
I
us?
haven't really had the need to start a new game
Naruto,
in
what are you talking about? We
I
just
mean,
finished the
I
test.
have. I've had multiple times the need to start new games in
Yeah,
Storm
but
2.
why
It's
would you not
just
go on
that
another mission? I just can't hold still.
I just didn't think of it yet.
I don't know where you get your stamina.
Well, it's good to be eager.
You mean
That said, I can't give you a legitimate mission yet. All I've got for you are a few simple...
Oops.
perfect? No problem. I'll take it.
All right, choose your mission.
You know, there's a thing that certain modern games do. This is specifically modern games where the dialogue plays a very important role in, and they allow you to just go back and reread what took place, no matter like if it's a
You'll go
cutscene or
with
not.
Naruto.
Dang, that's such a good feature. Oh man.
Understood.
Come on. It's not like I'm going to need to know all the dialogue in this game. Thankfully, I've just played it so much that I know. And I've had so many times where I've started a new game for various reasons that I know what to do. But then again, there was also that one time I was wandering around for like 10 minutes because I just didn't read what was on the screen. Long story short, reading is important. Never forget to read. Except, you know, unless it's like right now when I've played this game too much. So, I guess if anything, now is the time to bring up Storm 2 in particular, its combat system. How do you say? I guess, if anything, this is more or less, well, straight to the point, this might just be the weakest Storm game in terms of its combat mechanics, because there is so little you can do in the game as a whole, and at the very least, at the very least in a title like Storm 1, you had it was the excuse that you were recreating the anime in a video game, and you don't really have that in Storm 2. They took away jutsu clashes. You still have transformations. We still have transformations, but there is no more of that weird QTE where your opponent can reduce the damage or break the jutsu entirely. It's... I don't know. There's not a lot going on here, and, you know, maybe that's also represented by the fact that, you know, it's a one-button fighting game for the most part. But with that being said, I've always been curious about the Ultimate Ninja series competitive scene. I know for a fact that, sorry, let me correct what I just said. I've always been curious about the Ultimate Ninja Storm's competitive scene, because I know for a fact that Ultimate Ninja has one, and, you know, people play on a Discord. I can't talk any more about Ultimate Ninja's competitive scene due to me just not investing that much time into it. But I know it's a thing, I know it exists, and I definitely know there's a meta for it. What is the meta? That's an entirely different question. That I don't have the answer to. But when I look at a lot of, you know, high-ranking Storm footage, lots of that, lots of jumping shuriken, and a lot of not full combos. Obviously, because you can call your assist mid-combo. That's really strong, all things considered. I don't think there is any fighting game on the planet where that is not super powerful. In fact, one fighting game that I can actually compare that to is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. A little while ago, actually, I was, you know, trying to see if it was possible to get good at Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 2 as a complete beginner. This essentially, and see if it was possible to get good at a found-out game where the meta is set in stone, good characters and good strategies already exist, and the answer is yes. If you have the patience, to learn, nothing is impossible. It also helps that, you know, the game had a re-release on all modern platforms, so that may have played a little bit into it. But how do you say? Going back to what my original point was that in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, if there is any break in offense, you can call an assist. And the assists in that game are very invincible. So what ends up happening is that either you mix the opponent up, you know what, let me slow my roll a little bit. Let me not talk like I know Marvel 2 like the back of my hand. However, mix-ups are a very big part of the game. Trying to make sure that your opponent doesn't use those super invincible assists, or if they do use it, they get punished hard for them, is a very, very big part of the game. Maybe not as big as I'm making it sound, but it is important nonetheless. And you know, just trying to see what's the word I'm looking for, and bring this back to Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, or just the Ultimate Ninja Storm games in general. Seeing the way that offense is played, seeing how kind of aware the players have to be is always an interesting aspect, especially since after Storm 2 they ended up rightfully nerfing substitution jutsu because it's way too good. It's man, like, it's until Generations it was the best move in the game, because if you just have the chakra meter, you just do it, you don't think about it. Shoutouts to that Gaara boss fight in Ultimate Ninja 2, where that's like what he does for 90% of the boss fight, and I think he has increased damage too, and you're mashing with PS2 trigger buttons. What a fun boss fight that was. So, as we get closer and closer to the proper chapter 1 of this game, there is something that I wanted to mention, and it's actually the core of what Naruto is about. It's love. One second, I'm gonna take a drink of water here. Excuse me. So yeah, it's about love, and the reason I bring it up is because Gaara is probably one of, if not the most impacted characters by love, for better and for worse. And it's a very interesting thing. There was a long time ago, and I don't know which YouTuber this was, but somebody made a video called Naruto It's a Story About Love. And I never watched that video, but I sat there in my seat and I thought to myself, dang, they're so right. Because from chapter 1, that's all Naruto was ever about, is being, well, he wanted to be acknowledged, but he used pranks and things of that nature in order for people to acknowledge him. But
Well, that ends this mission.
in reality, it was just a cry, a child crying to be loved. And Naruto as a whole would go on to explore this concept in various cases, in various characters, and so on and so forth. I mentioned in past live streams that Naruto is, as a series, is about how people act or respond to the presence or the lack of presence of love. You have characters like Naruto, like I already mentioned, who would play pranks to get people to notice him, but again, it was just a cry out for love. And then you have characters like Gaara, where, what was that old saying, excuse me, about a child and villagers? Like, it takes a village to raise a child, something, something, something. Child burns down a village if they, to feel warmth. It would be very, it'd be very impactful if I could remember it correctly. Hang on a moment. It takes a real village to raise a child, something, something, something. Child burns down village to if they don't feel warmth or something. Whatever. That's basically Gaara. Gaara is that old saying given character, and you can tell that this is Kishimoto's intention because the literal writing above his eye, his left eye, means love. And everything that Gaara does is, in a sense, an expression of a warped sense of self-love, where he tries to make himself better by essentially hurting he tries to make himself feel better by hurting others. I'm glossing over a lot of it, but that's the character writing in a nutshell. And so going into Shippuden is I always do that. I always go into the wrong shop. Is this the right shop? Yes it is. Okay. Why do I always do that? I make the same mistake every playthrough. All right. Anyways, but not anymore. Anyways, and then going into Shippuden, he has, well, not necessarily only Shippuden. He has a massive character arc that you see happen essentially. Part of it happened, the most important part of it happened on screen when he fought Naruto, but his character had dramatically shifted by the next time he was on screen and helped lead. And then Shippuden happened, and he took an even bigger shift. We're gonna get to that in a second. Again, 10-year-old game, I know. But Gaara is such an interesting character to me because I didn't like him. I didn't like him at all. I don't know. As a kid, I always favored heroes and never really cared too much about villains. Even when they got a sad sob story, it was like I remember Gaara's seeing Gaara's story on TV for the first time, and it's like, wow, that's so sad. I still don't like this character, but that's so sad. And I think really it was Shippuden. Honestly, it was Shippuden that like won me over on this character, but it was the. Okay, we're gonna get into spoiler territory if I keep talking, but he has something to say about Naruto, and like it was at that moment that's like, whoa, Gaara has changed so much. He's not that same kid who's just trying to make himself feel better by hurting others. He's developed so much, and what's interesting about it is that it's such a believable development, but most of it happens off screen. Like I don't how do they do that? How do they make this character feel so genuine when, you know, most of his, maybe that's the point, right? Is that, you know, there's just some things that are harder to explain, even when you try to explain it. So the only way they could get it to work is if they took Gaara off screen for a significant period of time and then show a much calmer demeanor. I'm gonna take another swig of water. Something else I wanted to mention, you know, just in case you've been playing this game for as long as I have and never actually looked around. But, you know, there's a handful of pictures of Sakura. I think that's like, you know, I'm looking at this at a very small screen, by the way. I could expand it at any time, but I don't feel like it. And I think like this is like a bunch of images, like low poly images of different Naruto moments. I don't know. That might be. It might not be. I might be grasping at straws there, but I don't know. I found that interesting that I didn't notice that up until now. Anyways, going back into the theme of love and Gaara, and how Naruto as... Oops. Wrong store. First time I made that one. Made that mistake. Going back to the theme of love, I find it really interesting with Naruto because as the years go on and I get a bit older and older, I kind of realize how amazing Naruto is as a story, right? Like, like 100%, when I was watching this as a kid, I was not thinking very deeply of Naruto's messages as a whole. I came here for the fights, the video games gave me more fights, and I definitely ate it all up. But as I sit down and read it again as a grown man, I kind of realized that, wow, we kind of got an amazing story about love, and nobody talked about it. Nobody talks about that. It's the main center point of most Naruto arcs, love in some capacity, and either love or what a character perceives to be the lack of love they have in their life, and nobody talks about it. Now, I'm not going to be overly, I don't know, critical, for lack of a better term, on how people see things. Honestly, it's very difficult to see a lot of things in the moment. Things get a lot easier to analyze and inspect once you have not only gained experience with it, but how do you say, what I had two things I wanted to say. Okay, the second one's gonna come to mind, but basically it takes time to fully chew on whatever what any kind of media has. It's, well, okay, I don't know how to word this in the nicest way possible, so bear with me as I try to navigate my words on this. But it's one of the reasons why I don't take a lot of reviews at face value. There's a lot of times where I have gotten enjoyment from a game, a movie, something of the sort that was not even in B tier, not in the 70s or even the 60s, but I could see what a person was trying to do, and I respect that they tried to do something different. And it also helps that, the influx of negativity comes in, and I have experience of dealing with a lot of bad media, not bad in terms of like content, bad in terms of execution. So I can see something and go, okay, I can see what you were trying to do, and I respect that, because not a lot of people are trying to do that, right? Oh, I talked about this a long time. I think the video might still be on the channel, but I don't know. The concept was basically that you shouldn't essentially judge a book by its cover. Just because something is rated low doesn't necessarily mean that that thing is inherently bad. Sometimes someone can just be trying something new for the first time, and how do I form the words on this? Their execution could need some work.
We've been doing a lot of running around, huh? Let's see, what should we do next? My stomach's growling.
Well, we have been doing a lot of moving around.
In that case, I think I'll head over to my favorite place.
Don't tell me. You mean Ichiraku, right?
Bingo! I haven't had Ichiraku ramen in ages. I'm gonna stuff myself silly. So, wanna come along, Sakura?
Sorry, but I'm keeping Sakura here with me. I have something for her to do.
Something to do? I could help.
I'd love it if you would, but it's a medical request.
I don't think I can help with that.
Never mind. You go to Ichiraku and enjoy your ramen.
Sounds good. That's what I'm gonna do.
So, excuse me. We're about to come to the most, the Kazekage rescue arc is kind of the most interesting arc in Naruto, because as much as this arc is about Gaara, it's kind of not.
Gotta get some ramen from Ichiraku.
Okay, so time to head back into the adaptation differences. But a lot of the way that Storm 2 plays out isn't exactly how it works out in the manga or the anime. I'm gonna use both of them to bridge a gap here, because my Naruto manga collection is a bit spotty.
No way.
I don't have all
You're
the books.
that knucklehead.
For reference, for the Kazekage rescue arc, it in my collection goes 28, 29, 31. Why'd I do that? I wish I
The
knew.
name's
It-
Tamari. It's been a long
Excuse me.
time. Naruto Uzumaki.
I don't know. Like childhood me is a different person, man. Let's see. So
And then, just a little while
I'm
ago, I
debating
had my first
talking
drill.
about like the whole crux of the arc right now, and I think I just want to focus on
Just got back.
Gaara.
You're already busy,
So
huh?
even though it's about saving Gaara, Gaara himself is not a huge focal point of the arc. Rather, it's a focal point of how much the Hidden Sand Village has come along since the destruction of the Hidden
Like
Leaf.
I would ever.
For instance, right now Tamari is just chilling
We're
in
just
the
back
well,
in the Hidden Leaf,
alright,
making
chilling.
arrangements for the next tuning.
you know, she's in the Hidden Leaf. You know, if I remember correctly, the relations between Leaf and Sand got like smoothed over relatively fast when the Sand realized Orochimaru was utilizing them to just get at the Leaf. And so, you know, again, when Gaara saved Lee, all of that stuff was swept under the rug, and now we're cool. But like, you know, are we cool with like you guys walking in my streets? You know, they like that there's different levels of acceptance, I guess, for lack of a better term. And even though the Sand Village helped, wait, I'm remembering now. In the chasing Sasuke arc, Tamari was definitely in the Leaf Village. All right, never mind. Forget what I was trying to say.
You gotta be kidding. I'm really the only Genin?
But you know, on that note, we can pivot to something else, which I think this arc is very interesting because, okay, Naruto, in context of what's happening on screen, is devastated that he is the only one that's left behind in his age group, the only Genin. Everyone else is a Chunin or above. And,
You haven't changed at all.
you know, how do I formulate all my words that I'd like to say? Okay, so I'm gonna start this off by saying this is all my speculation of what I've read about what Kishimoto is trying to say about ranks, about, you know, people and hard work and things of that nature. So let me head all of this off by saying hard work is necessary, right? And I believe that through a lot of Naruto, it details that you're not going to get far if you aren't willing to work hard at something. But working hard is a portion of the whole pie. Let me further explain. Dragon Ball is inherently about working hard. With hard work, a low class can surpass an elite. This is how it is in many of its arcs. You know, when Goku fights Vegeta, when Goku fights Frieza, even when Goku fights Cell, because Cell is a culmination of Frieza and Vegeta and Goku and Trunks, but there's a lot more royal bloodline in Cell than there is low class. So technically you can put him in there, but this is a lot of what Dragon Ball centers itself around, that with hard work anybody can do anything. Naruto has concepts of this, it's very similar in a lot of sense, but that's not the heart of the story. The heart of the story is in love. So the reason I tell you this is because this is the first arc of Shippuden. This is the first arc where Naruto gets back. He's so different, he's thinking more, he's this, he's that. This is honestly one of Naruto's weakest performances in the entirety of Naruto. His weakest performance is in the next arc, when he finds Sasuke again, and like, Sasuke basically just dances around them. They can't touch him.
You got it.
Right? Like, that's more or less what happens. But, you know, coming off the hype of a 2-year time skip And like, you know, going through other shonen, time skips are normally when, like, they're an easy way to hype up people and as to like how a character has grown and stuff like that. I remember in One Piece, Oda did such an amazing job showing how far the Straw Hats has grown, except Chopper, because it just made him less cool. You know, but it was super awesome seeing stuff like Luffy activate Gear Second without going into the pose. I think it was that he activated it in a part of his body. Don't quote me on that, because it's been a long time since I've read One Piece, and that chapter in particular is quite a ways in. But, you know, Dragon Ball, when Goku came back and he was geared up in weighted clothing, original Dragon Ball, right? When he's fighting Piccolo, fighting Piccolo as an 18-year-old specifically. And, you know, he was geared up and he's just leaving everyone in the dust. Man, he felt like he grew leaps and bounds. Naruto, on the other hand,
Don't get so hung up on rank, Naruto.
isn't that impressive in comparison to everyone else in this arc. And I feel that was done intentionally, right? It's done intentionally because I think somewhere along, not I think, I know for a fact that somewhere along the line people kind of got the wrong message about Naruto. And in a sense, Shippuden, I mentioned this before, and so I'll say it again, acts as a more intentional version of the story. I say intentional because a lot of Naruto's most poignant actions in the original series, part 1 is a lot easier to say, was all on accident. Shippuden is where Naruto has to be more intentional about everything he does. Because now we start getting into more complex situations, stuff that isn't going to be solved by punching people really hard. To be fair, part 1 Naruto's situations didn't get solved because Naruto punched someone really hard. It's actually because he unintentionally talked no jutsu to them and made them realize that, hey, you know, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's not right to treat Haku like a mere weapon instead of a person. Maybe true strength, is gained from others, helping others, working with others. And that in particular is a message of the Chunin exam. And it's particularly poignant that I mentioned that because now we have about to get Kazekage Gaara, and
my jutsu are all works of art. Just in case, I brought my
easily Gaara's best showing is in this game, which is I don't know. I don't know what to make of that statement. But it's the truth. This is the coolest that Gaara has been up to this point in video game form.
The one-tailed Shukaku's host, Gaara of the Sand. Show me your...
The most impressive thing, I think, about the fight is the end of the fight. And this is like one thing that's like, yeah, that... I mean, okay, they kind of show it. Sky Sand defensive wall in this game. But I think it's more poignant in the manga where Gaara is like, he is seconds away from falling to the ground and decides, wait a minute, I gotta get the sand out of here. I can't let this fall on the citizens of the Hidden Sand. I don't know, like 100%. I don't think the fight in the manga is anywhere close to the fight in Ultimate Ninja Storm 2. But it's those little character moments that go a long way in my personal opinion.
Just what I'd expect from the Kazekage of the Hidden Sand.
That cloak. You're one of the Akatsuki, aren't you?
So the operation failed, hurry up and settle this.
I will protect this village.
Alright. So, was there anything more I wanted to mention about love? I don't know. Something will probably hit me during the boss fight. You know, as I just said that, something did come to mind, and it was how Gaara's... Oh, okay. Sure, game. Whatever. It's how Gaara's viewpoint changed from original Naruto into... What is happening? What? What is going on? Anyways, it's how Gaara's viewpoint has changed so significantly. Gaara is famously a character who doesn't work hard, because that's literally his whole gimmick. The sand itself protects him. He doesn't need to do much. He doesn't need to do much in order to beat his opponent. But in trying to become Kazekage, he ends up putting himself through a ringer and potential discrimination in order to benefit the people of the Hidden Sand. Again, it's not a lot, but it's something that ends up speaking volumes to the character and how much he's changed from the tuning exams. And I do think that one of the more interesting aspects about his character is the fact that he doesn't necessarily become the cheeriest guy in the world. He still has his rather... Man, what do I call how Liam O'Brien portrays Gaara? Lifeless type voice, for lack of a better term. He's a little monotone, but his viewpoint on people has taken such a significant leap that it's hard not to look at it and go, this guy is completely different from how he used to be. I really appreciate the writing behind Gaara, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, here's another thing that I can say about love and Naruto and its writing for love is how important love is. I think a lot of people don't necessarily... Dude, what the heck is this attack pattern? I've never seen that before. Oh man. But no, getting back on track, Naruto, and I don't think a lot of people really understand how important it is to not only love, but to be loved and to treat others with love and respect. It sounds like something that's so small, something that is so minor in the grand scheme of things, but it really can be that deciding factor of whether or not a person... Oh boy, I gotta choose my words carefully, because this could get really intense. But, you know, if a person likes themselves,
Not bad.
if anything, that could be the major takeaway from Gaara. You know, blind hate, discrimination, all these things cause so much of a rift in a person that they
Close.
don't see people as people. Shoot, man. Oh, wow. Dang. Okay. I'm learning a bit about the not only the Kazekage rescue arc, but the tuning exams as a whole, and how Gaara views people and how people viewed Gaara. So what I'm getting right now is that people devalue Gaara, and so that devaluation that he felt, he brought onto others. What's it do onto others as you would want them to do onto you? That's an old saying that has stuck with me for years now, and dude, I'm a little shocked I was able to apply that to Naruto. That's some revelation right there. But no, Okay, so I don't want to necessarily go too deep into this right now about the whole devaluing others topic, but it will definitely become more important when Sasori is on screen. And this might be something you realize, something that you might not have realized. And it's, if you didn't realize it, it might be because you played Ultimate Ninja Storm 2 and didn't watch the anime or read the manga. Because a lot of Sasori's character and the importance around it and what he does is lost in translation, in this game specifically.
Incredible! What a huge shield!
One day, I'd like to become something precious to others too. And not as some weapon of terror, but as Kazekage.
Blocking that is amazing.
I apologize that I'm not saying a whole lot right now. I'm just stewing on some concepts in my head.
I'll back off for now.
I think that above everything, Gaara's decision to become Kazekage is a very interesting. I mentioned this again in a live stream in the past, but it's still a very prominent point that Gaara decided to give something to people who weren't very deserving of it, to be quite honest. But it, like, you know, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. So in Gaara's case, initially he was treated poorly, he was maligned. I think I'm using that word correctly. I don't know, but you know, he was done a lot of bad things to, and so he did bad things to other people. But when he wanted something good to happen to him, he started treating others better.
Is it over then?
Ain't that something?
I would say not. That was pretty close.
He took that, and he's still...
But, in the end, the victory's mine.
No!
Man, that took some doing, mixing detonating clay and sand in a gourd. He wasn't giving me any openings either. You're as tough as I figured, Kazekage. Alright, now I'm gonna take you someplace fun.
Alright. So now we come to the biggest question of all. Do I keep going? Or not? Alright. So if I keep going, by design, I think I am going to have to talk about that thing that I didn't want to talk about yet. Because the newest character to be introduced
Is about to start its next
is one of the most important characters in the arc. But the game doesn't portray her as that, which is kind of
What's wrong,
unfortunate.
Naruto? Something on your mind?
It's just, I never thought Gaara would become Kazekage. I'm a little bit frustrated, a little bit happy.
I understand frustrated, but you're happy too?
Well, if he's Kazekage, it means everyone's acknowledged him, right? He's probably had a really tough time. But Gaara did it. He worked and became Kazekage. I can't help but feel happy for him.
Well then, you better do the same. You can't let Gaara outdo you in the hard work department.
Yeah, I'm gonna work hard on missions and become Hokage in no time.
That's one thing about you that hasn't changed at all.
So let's hurry up and get started on the mission, Kakashi-sensei.
Right. But first, let's go see the 5th Hokage and get our next mission.
Gotcha.
Decisions. Let me think for a second. Okay, oh, oops, forgot to save. So, I can keep going a bit longer. Oh, right, I forgot about this guy. Yeah, I don't know. Searching for the dolls ends up putting a big time on how long to beat the game, but I don't know. It depends on if they're in the way. If they're in the way, I might just do them. If not, then maybe not. Actually, now that I think about it, it is kind of interesting about this whole doll situation, because if memory serves, the Killer Bee and Sasuke fight happens a little bit before Naruto fights Pain. So, I wonder why it's like that. It's probably a time, time constraint thing. No, but that wasn't DLC. It's in the actual game. Why is it like that? I don't know. I guess just to give you something to do, and so that these things actually have a reward instead of, being whatever. You know what? Speaking of side missions, let's go. Yeah, Konohamaru. Shot run pill. Okay, out. Wait, don't I? Isn't this just in my I can give you one. Let's see. I need. Okay, yeah. the beauty of New Game Plus. Because I'm like thinking to myself, like, wait a minute, don't I already have like everything I need for this? I don't know how to react to that. You got him to get the present, the pieces to his own present. That's certainly different. So what do I get for... Oh, I just get money. Okay, wow. Yeah, and that's why... that's why the Sasuke Killer Bee fight is the reward for getting all the dolls. Because you run into a situation like this, and it's like, wow, you have 1,000 Rio. It's like, wow. That helps out a lot. It's kind of interesting that Storm 2 does that. Like, it doesn't start me from zero. It's effectively a New Game Plus if I already beaten the game already. I don't know why it does that, but whatever.
So, what are we supposed to do?
Yes, about your mission.
Lady Tsunade, terrible news!
Quiet down. What is it?
We've just received word that the Sans Kazekage has been taken prisoner by the Akatsuki.
What?
Gaara's been...
Lady Tsunade.
All right, Team Kakashi, I'm assigning you a new mission. You're to go to the Sand Village at once and find out what's going on there. You're to remain there and follow their orders. Give them any backup they need.
Understood. Okay, we'll leave for the Hidden Sand right away. The Hidden Sand is a fair distance away. Make sure to keep up.
You got it.
Something that I always, well, I can't really say always. So very interestingly enough, and this is gonna sound a little awkward, but I think that watching the Naruto anime ended up damaging my appreciation for the dialogue in Naruto, because a lot of the dialogue in Naruto is very straightforward. Well, no. Let me choose a better word. It's not straightforward, but it's quick to get over with. That's not a lot better. Basically, Naruto's dialogue in the manga does not waste your time. There. Ugh. And, well, what's the word I want to say? That... When you watch the anime, there's a lot of things that take up time. And it could be voice acting, it could be music, it could be something as small as, just putting emphasis on a specific word, which gives it a lot more time than it would be for you to read it. Now, with that being said, a lot of events in the manga just go by so fast because you can read it in whatever your reading level is, right? And through that, well, this kind of plays into what I was saying about Naruto gave me a lot of, I wanted to see fights, Naruto gave me a lot of fights, and video games gave me more fights. But most of my excitement for having view Naruto is to see the fights.
What are you doing here?
I didn't really appreciate a lot of the dialogue that was going on.
I'm just on my way home to the
and, unless it was explicitly, unless I heard the English dub of it, I did not appreciate a lot of the dialogue that was going on, which is also a reason as to why my
We have something to tell you.
Naruto collection of manga has a bunch of holes in it, because really I was using the manga to substitute the anime so that I can see or read the fights.
Yes.
No, that's it. So I can read the fights. And while the manga was definitely
We're just on our way
a
to the
way
sand
to do
save
that,
Gaara.
as I read them
Tomorrow,
now,
would you come
I appreciate a lot more about
Yes,
them.
of course I'll go
And one
with
of the
you.
things about it was, as you saw on screen,
It's
where
still quite a ways to the
Tsunade had
hidden sand.
just,
Let's hurry.
decided to switch over Team Kakashi to help out the Hidden Sand. And she did that with, okay, so this is going to be very important for what I say next, because in a matter of minutes, we're going to be introduced to that next character, and it's going to be so important for the focal point of the arc. But she essentially sent out 2 S-tier teams, like the village's top 2 teams, to go and save Gaara, and did it with just one singular red alert.
Village yet?
And that speaks volumes to how she sees the sand.
Naruto, you're pushing yourself too hard. If you keep this up, you'll burn out.
I can't take this anymore!
Huh?
I know why they're after Gaara and me. You know too, don't you, Sakura? The Akatsuki's come after me before, for the nine-tailed fox sealed inside of me.
Well,
Gaara and I are the same. We both have monsters locked up inside of us. That's what these bastards are after. And that's the worst part about it. To them, we're just monsters. All they see is the means to an end.
Naruto.
Everything about us was exactly the same. No one ever understanding us. But I had Iruka-sensei, and friends who were there for me. And he had to fend for himself, a lot longer than I ever did. And now he's a target of the Akatsuki, just like they targeted me. It's not fair. Why should his life be so full of misery all the time? Why is it always him? That's why I gotta hurry. I don't have a second to waste.
It's all right. We understand how you feel.
That's why I want to get there as fast as I can. I want to save Gaara now!
I know.
Thank you, Naruto Uzumaki.
Truth be told, Naruto and his
Ready,
connection
straight for the hidden sand.
or
No break.
his sympathy towards Gaara is probably his strongest aspect of the Kazekage rescue arc. Jumping ahead a bit here, but the shut up scene, like I think about it a lot. Okay, I don't think about it a lot, but when, I guess because I've been starting and Shippuden over a lot, I think about it. Or I've been starting Ultimate Ninja Storm 2 a lot. I think about it a lot. And that ends up creating a much, in my opinion, a much stronger resonance for the arc than I think Naruto doing some kind of cool hype stuff. I mean, he does do cool hype stuff in the arc, but I think for his character, it speaks larger volumes, is what I'm trying to say. That is Naruto's biggest moment in the arc. I really hope I conveyed that properly.
Tamari and Shinobi from the Hidden Leaf Village.
What's happened to Gaara?
Baki will fill you in on the details. For now, we just need to get you to the Kazekage's mansion.
Gotcha!
guess for the time being, I can talk about this game's, or at least the direction. Nah, you know, I think this is one of those times where I just admit that I don't know a lot about how video game artwork works. But I can tell you, I do appreciate how the background art for this game looks. It's really nice. I wish I could give a more detailed opinion about that, but
Tamari,
I don't know.
got a backup unit from the Hidden Leaf Village.
Tell me about Gara! What's happened to him?
Yes. Unfortunately, the Akatsuki still have him.
You've sent a tracking unit after them, right? What have they reported?
They say the Akatsuki have taken Gara and are making for the Land of Rivers.
Rivers, huh?
Yeah, I can hear him now. Dude, it's so late at night. Ah, man, I really hope that guy doesn't have anything important to go to. And I laughed at his misfortune.
Kakashi-sensei!
May he get there without any stops, and may he also not hurt anyone if he is in that desperate need to leave.
Baki, we'll head to the Land of Rivers and rescue the Kazekage.
My thanks. We're in your debt.
Naruto, Sakura, I'm going to contact the Hidden Leaf. While I do, you two get ready.
Yes, sir!
Oh, right. She comes in when I'm getting ready to leave.
We've just received word from Kakashi. He says that the Akatsuki have taken the Kazekage and are heading for the Land of Rivers. I'm assigning you essentially the same mission as Team Kakashi. Get to the Sand Village as fast as possible and provide any support necessary. Is that clear?
Crystal. All right, everyone. We'll make it to the Land of Rivers in one day.
I think we can make it in half a day, Sensei. It will take 3 days, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, what's the point of making promises we can't keep? Huh.
Forward, everyone. Let's make for the Land of Rivers.
I think that out of all the voice actors, Guy's English voice actor is my personal favorite. Especially so for how he pronounces Kakashi's name. I don't know who directed him to do that. Thank you for directing him to do that. I didn't remember any of this happening at all. But I will say, Guy has always been an interesting character in Naruto, if only because I never felt like I was on the same page as Kishimoto when reading any of Naruto, because Guy seems extremely competent, if only blinded by his love for Lee. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure that, to word that in a better sentence, but no, that's really it. And so we now come up into the Kisame bit of the arc, and I cannot tell you how badly I misread this as a kid. So, it's literally gonna happen on screen.
Hey, could we take a break soon?
But Guy is going to encounter Kisame after 2 years. And Lee is about to get put into an early grave, after recovering, whatever.
Enough talking, you two.
Huh?
Something's coming. Sorry about that. So anyways, he encounters Kisame after all this time. Well,
and
finally.
Well, you know what? It's so close. I'll let it play out.
You know this person, Guy Sensei?
Who are you?
So, how I read this is that Guy saw through the illusion.
No wonder your because, you know, spoiler warning, this isn't the real Kisame, it's just somebody who looks like Kisame. Well, not someone who looks like him, but it's his jutsu portraying himself onto someone else. And I thought it was like, oh, guy is somehow able to see through the illusion, and he thought he was looking at Kisame, but in actuality, he was looking at this other guy. I was like, no, wait a minute, who is this guy?
Let's get started.
That is very much so not what happened. and because, like, guy is competent, but he's also played for gags. And I don't know. I guess it led for me to be a bit confused on how Kishimoto was trying to write him. Not a bit, very confused. Excuse me, in this specific instance.
I'm not done playing with you yet.
He really is tough.
In that case, why don't we step up our game as well?
Okay.
I won't try and talk you out of it. I'll let you learn the hard way.
I wouldn't be so sure.
I think it is a bit interesting when I go back to read Naruto and I see how late essentially the Akatsuki were written in. Because as a whole, I think Naruto focused more on the entirety of the ninja world and its perception on people, specifically ninjas, and how they... What am I trying to say here? And how the world as a whole treats ninjas, which is to say, not great. Like, the Zamazan Haku arc is primarily about showing how people view ninjas, how they are treated amongst themselves, and how when they outlive their usefulness, they're treated like weapons, which is where Haku ends up getting that idea that he is just Zabuza's tool, and if he's broken, then he has outlived his usefulness. That's not something that Zabuza himself put on the kid, that's something the kid came to on his own conclusion. And so, Naruto in the beginning is much more centered around its world building, but after the Chunin exams, it introduced, well, not its world building, it's more interested on the world of ninjas as a whole, and then after the Chunin exams, the Akatsuki appear for like a hot second and then leave, and it's really not until Shippuden that they come back and end up being this worldwide threat.
It looks as though I've taken you too lightly.
How do I say? It is interesting.
Then. I'm through playing games.
It has a very seam of its pants type feel, is what I'm trying to say. Although I say that not in the fact that it works poorly.
Think they'll be okay?
It's just I can tell. At some point, someone said, "Hey, we need a bigger threat that potentially all the ninja world can get involved in."
I keep feeling like I've met you before, somewhere, maybe. It's no good. I can't remember. Well, you really are a troublesome one. All right, with my blade shark skin here, I'll cut you to ribbons and make you remember.
This murderous intent. He is no ordinary foe, is he?
Be careful, Lee. The smallest slip could cost you your life.
Yes, sir.
Here I come.
By the way, I cancel what I said earlier about Lee going into an early grave. That was a kind of a tasteless joke I made. Yeah, so I just take that back. Take back that comment I made about Lee going to an early grave. Just to clarify. Anyways, what? Is there anything I want to say about this? Oh, I guess the only other thing to say is the interesting fact that Guy ends up taking over Lee's role as taijutsu expert as far as the entirety of... Yo! Yo! What is going on? How is it every time I boot this game up, I see something different that I haven't seen in 10 years? Maybe it's because this is like the PS4 version, and like, that's why, right? Because it can totally be that. Oops, I didn't have enough chocolate for that. This should work though. Except I don't remember its range. Oh, it's full screen, of course. So yeah, that guy ends up taking over Lee's role as the taijutsu expert in the series. I had some thoughts on that, but I don't think... I don't know, Guy is just overall stronger than Lee, which is, you know, like he's his sensei. So of course, in a sense, yeah, that makes sense. But I also like I had canoned that Guy wouldn't teach Lee anymore the 8 inner gates because of what happened with Gaara.
Rather enjoyable, but
I don't know.
like
That fits in my mind.
Unfortunately, our final showdown will have to wait. Until then, take care not to die.
He was a fairly strong opponent.
It looks like you finished too.
Neji! Tenten! Are you alright?
Yes, we managed somehow.
I see. He gave you trouble too.
So, what was he after anyway?
Well...
I know we're all concerned with his motives, but we've no time to pause.
Yes, it's just as Neji says. We need to hustle and catch up with Team Kakashi.
Gets me every time.
Right.
Okay, we'll save the thinking for later. Right now, we trek on.
Yes, sir!
Oh, finally.
Shall we go?
I'm sorry for putting you through all this trouble.
No. If we needed help, you'd do the same for us.
Thank you.
Well then, we leave for the land of rivers.
Wait!
This is the character I've been waiting to talk about. So Granny Chiyo is probably the linchpin character of the Kazekage arc next to Sasori. And the reason I say this is because, well, she is the character that gets the most character development next to Sakura in this entire arc. So if you don't know, in the manga and the anime, when she first catches wind that Gaara is kidnapped, she does not care. She has to be motivated, essentially bribed by Baki to hear that Sasori was spotted in the village, outside the village, and then she ends up coming around to see like, okay, what's going on? And then when she gets a look at Kakashi, she ends up attacking him, and Naruto has to body block for him because she thinks that Kakashi is the White Fang. I haven't read volume 27 in a long time, so the hyper shortened version is that the White Fang is Kakashi's pop, and so technically correct but also wrong. Anyways, Granny Chiyo is supposed to be a representation of the old Hidden Sand mentality that hasn't really gone away. Yes, the Hidden Sand has made strides to better themselves with the Hidden Leaf Village and work together with them for peace, but you still have a lot of old heads in there that are like, I got mine,
You get yours. The Hidden Sand was great when I was a kid. You know, we didn't need alliances in order to make the Hidden Sand great. Da 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 da. The whole old person thing, or back in my day, this, that, and the other didn't happen. But the kicker of it is that she is the one. Well, the game is gonna cover that later on. But she is the one who put the Shukaku inside of Gaara. And so you just get this really callous character coming along for the ride in, you know, I trying to save, not even trying to, forget trying to save, she ain't trying to save Gaara. She's trying to see Sasori. That's her whole motivation for coming along, is literally seeing Sasori. And so you just get this really callous character, this really cold-hearted old lady who takes up a bunch of the emotional crux of the arc. And I find it very interesting because so for context, when I was originally reading the Kazekage Rescue, I read it right after the Chunin exams, and I found that it was actually a really good follow-up to the Chunin exams, even though it wasn't in the correct order, because it still it addressed the Hidden Sands' old mentality and showed that while they were willing to make progress, the issues with having an how do I word this? The issues with callousness. I think that's like the best way to put it, is that she didn't see. Oh, I don't want to talk about it yet. All right. Interesting. That was interesting. Where's my phone at? So this is like the awesome thing about this new setup, is that I saw that happen in real time, and so I can now check and see what went down. Like, am I still streaming? No, please, YouTube, stop. I don't care about that much. Okay, it seems that, what the heck? What was that? Hold on, what happened? Okay, hang on. Phone time. I mean, the stream looks like it's still going, so I guess I keep going too? What the heck was I talking about? I don't know, but I really appreciate this new setup. I would have not been able to, so you can't see what I can see, but for a brief moment, the internet kind of just like tapered off, and I don't know, like streaming on YouTube. Streaming on YouTube has its benefits and its disadvantages, you know, like many things in this life. But you know, if it goes down on YouTube, then yeah, okay, it's playing now. But if it like goes down on YouTube, then stream over. You know, start a new stream.
I'll take care of him.
What?
That said, I don't mean you should just stand by and watch. I need you for backup. I'd like to send you on ahead, but I don't think I can take him alone.
All right.
Yep, okay, everything's bad. Alright, that's good. Sorry, everything just literally lit back, well, not literally. A lot of things lit back up on my end here. So we're all good. I thought Lightning Blade was supposed to be one of the fastest jutsu. One of the fastest jutsu in the verse. Why was Itachi? Why is Itachi back that faster? Like legit. All right, they wanted this game to be more competitive. I'm sorry. The answer was staring me right in the face. Oh, come on.
Well, I did win, but something feels strange.
I wonder what it takes to S-rank that fight. Because that has consistently been like the one fight. I mean, no, yeah, that's consistently been the one fight that I've always had the hardest
way around a fight.
Itachi.
Time S-ranking.
That's as far as we go this time.
He vanished!
The way he retreated.
Yes. Apparently he was here only to buy time.
Buy time?
When you consider his tactics, there's no doubt they've already started extracting the tailed beast. Presumably, trying to create a new Jinchuriki.
Tailed beasts? Jinchuriki? What are those?
Tailed beasts are mysterious creatures like Shukaku and the Nine Tails.
The Nine Tails.
Tailed beasts are huge concentrations of chakra. During the Great War, every nation competed for their control.
Control? Is it possible to wield these concentrations of chakra?
In the end, no. No one managed it. But at one time, people did try to control them by sealing the tailed beasts in humans. And people in whom tailed beasts are sealed, like Gara, are called Jinchuriki.
Naruto. How are the tailed beasts extracted?
Sakura?
It takes a sealing jutsu strong enough to counterbalance the tailed beast's power, and a lot of time. But were things to reach that point, then the Jinchuriki...
You don't mean...
That's right, dear. Once the tailed beast is extracted, they die.
No, then...
You're always quick to cry, huh, Sakura? Hey, don't worry. I promise I'm gonna save Gara.
Don't you get it? Naruto, I'm concerned!
Kakashi-sensei, we better hurry!
Naruto...
I don't remember how Naruto responded in, you know, the manga and stuff, but I do think it is very interesting that he's not trying to acknowledge Sakura's feelings in that scene, right? Because Naruto acknowledging another person's feelings are a part of his development from part 1 into part 2. Hence, the Kazekage rescue arc, you know? But like at that point, it's like he's not trying to let himself feel sad. I don't remember if that was how it was portrayed originally, but I do think that is a very interesting aspect, that when it comes to himself, he tries to shrug it off, but when it comes to others, he doesn't know how to handle himself.
Kakashi-sensei, how much further until we get where we're going?
From here, not very far.
Good. Just hang on, Gaara. We'll have you out of there in no time.
You want to know something? I never noticed this game had an autosave until this moment. I'm not joking. I genuinely, because I always use these save points, right? So I'm so used to seeing the save symbol there, but like today was the first time I ever actually noticed that it said save in the middle of a field. Or it's the first day I noticed recently that it said save in the middle of a field. With that being said, that was pretty fun. that was pretty fun. How do you say? I really don't know where to go. Actually, I do. I'm buying for time because I wasn't prepared ahead of time in order to get this one thing. Okay. So, with a big portion of this live stream being on the topic of love, I just want to give people the chance to come to Jesus. You know, have a come to Jesus moment and get saved. You may be asking, what does any of that have to do with love? Well, my God, the Christian God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who is also the Jewish God, is the God of love. If you have love, you have everything. This world can be very painful at a lot of points. And through love, it is possible to do anything in this world. Personally, I'm speaking from experience. In fact, even as I say that right now, I am very reliant on the love I get from God to even do something like this. So, if that's you, if you're a person who wants to receive God, who wants to receive Jesus as his or her Lord and Savior, then by all means, stick around. So, if not, then you have the freedom to do whatever you will. With that being said, as it states in Romans 10:9, that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus, and shalt believe in thine heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. For with the heart man believeth unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. In layman's terms, what it means that if you confess that Jesus is Lord, if you believe that God hath risen him on the third day, then you are saved. It's as simple as that. And like, that's it. The thing about Jesus is that he gave himself up for the whole world. John 3:16, that whosoever shall believe on him shall be saved. It was the ultimate act of love, you know? It was out of love because Jesus created us. He has loved us before we could ever love him. And through that love, he went up on the cross and died for our sins. That love is more powerful than any force on earth, any kind of human love, any kind of love that I or any other person in your life can give you. Because it is a love that you never earned. It's a love that comes because you are his child and he loves you. I wish I had the words. I wish I could put it into words, you know? But the long and short of it is, you don't have to be alone. I don't know who this message is reaching. If it just reaches one person, well, that's more than enough. But with that being said, I want you to know, excuse me, that whoever accepted Jesus into their life as their Lord and Savior, I want you to know that you are loved. And you didn't do anything to deserve that love. Like a child and their parents, the child doesn't do anything to deserve a parent's love. The parent just loves the child. It's pretty similar to it. Not similar, it is like that. Just to give you a concept of how that love works. So with that being said, hey, if you got saved, welcome in. Whatchamacallit. I recommend, if you have gotten saved and haven't gotten yourself a Bible yet, you should find a Bible that first and foremost you can understand. There are many translations of the Bible that are written at different periods of time, but the good thing about it is that there is something for someone to understand out there, and I would recommend that you use something like, what's the word? What's that site called again? Bible Hub or something along the lines of that, to figure out some version of the Bible that you can understand. And it's important to understand what's written inside and not necessarily have the old King James version, because it's what you can understand, you can apply. Why is that important? Because it's important because if you didn't understand what was being said, you have no faculty to receive the love that God has for you, which is written page to page, chapter to chapter in the Bible. With that being said, also excuse me, you should also join a non-denominational church. That's where I personally went to in order to actually start understanding the Bible, understanding what it says and what is written therein. Understanding what's in the Bible is more important to learning how to live this life. I always refer to it as the instruction manual for how life is supposed to be lived. And you know, after a long period of time of living, I can accurately say my life has gotten a lot better since I picked up that book and actually applied what it has said inside. So, with all that being said, hey, appreciate you stopping by. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Until then.